is up? Fosh Anime bringing you a top 10 comedy anime, which I recently just compiled just because, I don't know, I like doing these like, top 10 things, and comedy is like a genre of anime that I kind of like, and it's hit or miss for most people because, some scenes make me laugh, some scenes won't make others laugh, and other times it's I guess a language translation barrier where a Japanese joke wouldn't be funny to someone who doesn't understand the Japanese culture and things like that. But on this list is nothing like that. It's just a breakdown of 10 shows that I kind of like that I enjoyed, and I ranked them based on how I felt they impacted me or how funny they were or things like that. And I'm gonna be short and brief on most of these. It won't be a long video, hopefully. We'll see. And some names kind of are missed on this. I don't know, like character names, so I'm just gonna say main characters. But yeah, I know it's kind of lazy, but that's whatever. And starting with number 10, going with Bimbo Gamiga, which I know is from the almost same team as Gintama, and it does have that feel because a lot of the comic routines they do are just random and hilarious. And I'll say the wacky characters probably make this series, enjoyable. Even though at the beginning I found some of them to be a little bit annoying, like the dog character. He was kind of this masochist, and it's kind of like, I get it, I've seen this before, huh? It's funny, but yeah, it was funny. And the black Buddhist priest dude, I thought he was pretty funny, even though he's a big pervert, but still funny. And main girl, I forgot her name, Sakura, I think, whatever her name was, but she would always have these inner thoughts that were just hilarious to me. I mean, she puts on this fake face that she's this happy, friendly girl, popular at school, but yet internally her mind, she's kind of dark and she's messed up. And all the references to different anime, I think there's a couple Dragon Ball Z ones. There's I'm blanking on Death Note was obviously one in there. Fist of North Star I think was one. I've never seen the series. And just a lot of things like that made me laugh, how they put these references. But I think it got a little too serious for its own good in certain episodes, like especially near the end. When she turns into a little kid and she's got to rely on others. That's funny and all, but I don't know. Sometimes I think the seriousness wasn't for me. It didn't really do anything for comic and hilariousness for me. I just thought it was kind of meh for the serious tones. Number 9, with Arakawa Under the Bridge, and much like Bimbo Gamiga, this just has a strange cast of characters. In this one, we have like a sister. Basically, it's a dude dressed in like a nun's outfit, and he's this assassin, I think, and he's just a weird character. I don't understand what's going on with him. And then you have this little girl, like a little lolly, that she powers up and gets mad and changes to this like hulking monster, muscle-bound dude, and it's hilarious just how stuff happens. And you got a guy wearing a kappa suit. He thinks he's a kappa, and he's throwing a main dude who has never experienced living like under a bridge, basically. And he's kind of struck by all these characters. And the main girl, she's weird too. She's kind of out there, and for some reason he just feels like he's drawn to her and he can't stop watching her. And for that series, I think the characters really carry that show. And it's just goofy and it's very bizarre. I know I've seen the full 2 seasons and enjoyed every moment of it. I mean, I wouldn't mind a 3rd season. And I know there's a live action movie, which I've never seen, so I don't know about that. And at number 8 would be Working. I would think both seasons, just like Awakawa, I liked. And this follows a team of workers that work at a restaurant, and each of them have these odd personalities. You have like this, I guess, blue-haired guy. He's kind of a cook, and he's kind of like messing with the main girl. She's really short, and most of the characters pick on her because of that. And you have another girl that can't touch men, and if a guy touches her, she freaks out and punches him or gets near him. And she's kind of funny, even though she's kind of almost like, I would say, technically the main focus of the series, because the main guy, I forget his name too, he's into little kids, and he thinks cute little short things are cute, and those cute things, and he's the main. But I think the girl who punches everybody is technically the other focus on the episode, which some certain episodes in season 1 focus more on them trying to date and fix her problem with guys, and they even go as far as to make him cross-dress, because if she doesn't think he's a guy, she can talk to him and interact with them and not beat the hell out of them. But yeah, this is another show. Just every character has something funny to bring to the series, and it's non-stop laughs. And I found it to be very, very fun. Number 7, which most people probably think haven't seen, Aka Musume, or Squid Girl for short. This follows the daily life of a half human, half squid looking girl who her main goal is to take over the world, much like Kate as a Vesda, but with Squid Girl, she's kind of dumb to the real world. She's lived under the ocean her entire life and comes to the surface world thinking that she can easily just conquer it by shouting at the humans and giving them orders. And it doesn't work that way. She has no idea how things work in the human world. And the first episode, they reveal that she's like, when the humans tells her, on the human world we have tanks and armies and stuff like that for that. And she's like, what's an army? What's a tank? She doesn't understand. And she causes some damage to this restaurant, and basically she's kind of forced into to be the slave of these people and work for these 3 girls and their brother, and eventually she just becomes good friends with them. And a lot of moments are just her. It's basically split into like 3 different parts, which each part of the episode focuses on like her learning something, like an umbrella, for instance. She's never seen an umbrella before, so she doesn't understand what it's used for, and she thinks it's just like a weapon or a tool. And when it gets broken, she actually breaks down and cries because she got attached to this little umbrella, and it's just goofy. And she likes playing video games and enjoys eating human food, and just the life of her, just watching her go through all these events is hilarious. And there's this group of, like, I guess Americans that find her, and they think she's an alien, so they convince her that she's an alien, and they try to dissect her and catch her, and it never works out. And in the meantime, she can use her hair tentacles to like pick up things and use them to fight, and it's just, I don't know, I found it to be very enjoyable, very lighthearted. And the way the main character talks, every time she ends a sentence, it's like she has a water pun. So it's like, this Kraken, that was Kraken, or this is inked up, just things like that, or this is for the seagulls instead of for the birds. And I thought that was kind of an interesting way of doing a character. And I think it's Hosaka Kamato's first role, I think. I could be mistaken, but she's playing all these cute girls. She's in A Common No Riddle right now as Haru. She's in Kurasa, she's in that. Boku wa Kurasa. She's in that. I think she's in Knights of Sidonia. She has short green hair, and she appeared. And like I said, as Squid Girl, I think is very hilarious to listen to. I like that. Number 6, Koro Zombie Desuka, Season 1 and Season 2. Like I said, both seasons are kind of I consider to be ongoing stories. So, and this follows a weird setup. We have a magical girl, a vampire ninja, a moe necromancer, and a zombie. And the 4 of these characters together are just a hilarious bunch to watch. They're always like kind of hitting the zombie, and they kill him, but he comes back because, well, he's a zombie and he can't die. And he even gets close to the point where he has to become a magical girl. So you have this dude who transforms into a magical girl and complete with every outfit, just like the main girl wears. And it's very, very funny in a comical way. It's not to be taken serious. It's just him living his life as a zombie. And none of the other characters know he's a zombie besides the supernatural girls. And I just thought, again, like much of the other shows in this list, the characters make the show just so much fun, and I love that about the Core Zombie. And they're even managed to throw in some sappy, happy moments that kind of make you feel like, oh man, this is kind of different. I'm not used to that, and I like how they did that. Coming in number 5, Daily Labs. I think they're high schoolers, and they have these weird adventures, and I thought it was just a hilarious cast of characters. The main guys have all these ideas and fantasies about how they would want their life to be, but sadly it's not that way. And most of these are cut into like one-shot gags. I think 4 per episode. I think, much like Squid Girl, and they're just divided into different parts. And some episodes made me laugh. There's one where the guys are talking about skirts, and they're wondering how skirts are, and girls like how they wear like wearing skirts, and they even go as far as to like trick one dude into putting on his sister's skirt, and they're the guys, the three of them, they're like, yeah, I'll do it, and they walk out like they're gonna do it, and they trick the other dude. He's walks out wearing a skirt, and the other guys are kind of messing with him, say that, yeah, this is something that someone would pay for, and it's just hilarious. That episode was funny, and there's one episode that made me laugh where they're doing this live action role play, and they're playing out this like an RPG game, and there's all these made up characters, and they're going so far with it, and just showing off their imagination, and just things like that, and just episodes where they kick the can, where they pull the can away, and the guy, gets hurt. And there's one about this book girl who she sees the world a different way. It's like this perfect world, but it's living through a book, and this, I don't know, they bring her out, and she's just hilarious, and she reacts to everything. And I think it's the episode where she chases one dude because she thought he, I guess, likes her, and it was pretty funny. And yeah, with that, like I said, I wouldn't mind another season of this because there's only one right now, and it's great seeing these dudes just play off each other, and it's just funny. Number 4, another prior show no one's really watched or heard of, Yuri Yuri, again, both seasons. And this follows a group of it looks like it's going to be a show about cute girls doing cute things, and it is in a way, and there's Yuri, but the only Yuri moments that come into my mind are the girls basically daydreaming about certain things happening. And the best character in this series is Kyoko and Akari. Both of these girls are just very strange, but Kyoko, on the other hand, she's just nuts. She's the most hyper character I've ever seen in anime as of late, and I just think she's just this ball of energy, and she has, I guess she's like a big fan of this anime about a magical girl, and she cosplays, and I think she even does a manga. Yeah, I think she sells a manga, and she's like a manga artist and manga writer, and she sells her manga and all this stuff, and most of it is just her being goofy or acting silly. And there was one Yuri, like full-on kiss that was actually somewhat real, was Akarin in Trinatsu. She's got pink hair. She chases around this girl with short red hair around her house and pins her and catches her and like jumps on her, and they kiss. And I'm not sure if that was a real scene or if it was a fake made up scene, but I think Akarin kind of blocked it from her mind. And with Akarin, her gimmick is she kind of has no presence, and she's ignored by a lot of people, so a lot of people don't know when she's around. Thought that was pretty funny. Feels kind of bad for her, but she's alright, And number 3, Nichijou, which is another series broken up into little segments here and there of one-shots, random stories. And it follows the school life of Mio, Yuko, and Mai, like the first half, doing silly things at school, much like Tsunari no Seki-kun of this season. They play these games and stuff in the, I think, after class, and a lot of times it gets a little crazy and animation just goes nuts. And some people forget this is by Kyoto Animation, which does a lot of pretty shows, and this show is, I would say, about maybe a 4 out of 10 on their scale as far as like art. Some episodes could go up to like 10, or not 10, but like 5 or 6. But yeah, this is done by Kyoto Animation, and a lot of their stuff is just random gags and characters you don't see. There's even a scene where there's a story about a princess in the sky, and there's these wooden cubes that I guess are like the powerful item of that world, and somehow they fall, and Mio, she has blue hair, has these wooden cubes on her head, and I guess there's a running gag that the cubes are all powerful and all this stuff, and it's weird. And there's a couple episodes where like the principal fights this deer outside the school with like full-on wrestling match with a deer. It's pretty funny. And Yuko, this little short brown-haired girl, just goes through so much, I guess, misfortune in the episode of this series, and you just can't help but laugh at her downfall. But I'd say one of the funnier moments in the series is these girls at a shrine, and it's raining, and they're kind of just, hiding out from the rain. And Yuko kind of stands up to do a prayer, pulls the chain, the bell, hits her in the head, and Yeah, she dodges it, bounces, it hits someone else in the head, and they break the floorboard, and all three girls just sit there with this blank face on the, a blank expression. They're just like stunned, like did that just happen? Anything like that. But the second half, I would say, the actual story comes in because we have another girl named Nano, which is she's a robot basically, and her storyline is she goes to school eventually after getting permission from her creator, Hakase, which is a little girl who is very strange. She's one of my favorite characters because how she reacts to everything. And we have a cat that Sakamoto, she makes this scarf, and the cat is able to speak but when they wears the scarf. And those three are like the other half of the story, which they do all these weird science experiments and things like that. But Nano goes to school and she doesn't want no one knowing she's a robot, and she kind of keeps it hidden from the three girls, Mio, Yuko, and Mai, but she can't really keep it a secret entirely. Eventually, I think they do discover she's a robot, but my memory's vague on that show. It came out such a long time ago. And yeah, like I said, Nano goes to school and she's just fun. I mean, when you get all the characters together in one room, it's berserk, it's bonkers, and I love it for that. And I think it's 26 episodes. I would love another season, but unfortunately, I think the DVD sales when it came out were not so hot because, again, it was one I think Kyoto Animation is probably lesser known shows that most people kind of overlook because you have to either like side gag stories that are 4 comma, which one shots. If you don't like that kind of setup, then it's probably not for you. So, number 2, which might surprise a lot of people, who knows? Gintama for number 2. I know, going back, oh my god, it's not number 1. Yeah, I mean, I love Gintama for what it is. It's fun, it's action-packed, it's dramatic, it can be sad, it can be almost every genre of anime. Even mecha, there's some Gundam stuff, and Gintama is a huge parody series that parodies a bunch of anime. Mostly of the big 3, I would say, they get most of the focus. And there's a couple Bleach moments, One Piece moments, Naruto moments, and yeah, but in general it picks out a lot of anime. A lot of stuff gets thrown in there. And this show just follows Gintoki, Kagura, and Shinpachi as they just go on these weird like adventures together and these arcs that they participate in. I would say Gintoki is probably my favorite because he gets some of the main focus, and over through all the comedy episodes there's like this underlying story of Gintoki from the past when he was just this badass samurai, and we get bits and hints in here story about him, and but really Gintoki just has his heart of kind of gold somewhat, even though he's he wants to get something out of work because he has to make a living. He does find himself helping a lot of people that in the past he probably would never do that, and with their team like Kagura and Shinpachi, they kind of bring out the best in him. They make him do these save people when he wouldn't normally do it. And by the end of the series, I know there's more to continue, there's a manga, there's movies, but by the end of the end of the anime series, we've developed so much bond with all these characters that even the side characters that like Kyubei and Shinpachi's sister, even those characters start to become really fun to watch. And like I said, a bunch of shows, Gintama has like one of the best cast of characters as far as the comedy goes for me. I mean, there are some cliche ones like the obsessed girl Ayami, who's just kind of a masochist and she just wants to get with Gin. And there's a couple other girls, and I forgot their names, but they all like him. But they're not really a harem, We don't really get an established romance in this, and I kind of like that. Even though, would a romance hurt this series? I don't really know. I don't think it really needs it, because there's so much other stuff going on at the same time. Gintama would have no time for that, so. And like I said, Gintama managed to mix in like drama moments which make you feel like kind of sad at the end. You're like, oh my god, that's sad. And the action moments are just pure badass. Gintoki, once he gets a hold of a sword, it's over. He's pretty much a cool character. He's a good fighter too. And yeah, not much to say about that without spoiling. It's just I think I would just love to see more of this series come out. Even though a bunch of people say, read the manga, which I plan on doing one day, but we'll see. But yeah, Gintama, It's really long if you haven't seen it. I recommend probably skipping the first 2 episodes and just jumping right to 3. That's what I've always been told by other people too, and even the movies are actually really good too. I like the movies. The last movie they put out was just everything of Gintama rolled into one, like I said. Action, funny, everything. And yeah, good characters. And number 1, probably make a bunch of people roll their eyes, but I don't care, I thought it was really funny. Boku wa Tomodachi ga Sukanai. And this has 2 seasons as well, and both seasons just are just great for me. I loved every moment of this. You know, it basically follows the life of a guy named Kodaka who goes to school, and he's kind of the cliche, oh, delinquent because he has blonde hair. Oh no, he's gonna take over the school, he's evil and all this stuff. But no, other guys don't know what he's like, and he's alone, and he's actually a decent guy. He's nice, and he attends a club called I call them the Neighbors Friends Club because they don't know how to make friends, so they develop this club after he walks in this girl named Yozura. She's talking to herself, and he realizes that she's kind of weird, and she freaks out that he saw her talking to herself, and almost a little bit of blackmail or something like that. She kind of forces him to make this club, almost like the melancholy of Haru Suzumiya, that they make this club together. And yeah, basically like the premise says, it's a club for making friends, or how to make friends. And slowly other characters join, like Senna. She joins because she doesn't have a club to join, and she wants to meet other people, I think. That's why she joins. And she's a big gamer, and that's surprising because she's like this blonde girl who looks good and everything, and you wouldn't think she'd be this closet gamer, but she's a big game freak, and she plays video games, even plays like I guess dating sim games that even have sexual scenes. And the funny parts about Yozura and Senna is when they get together, they just can't stand each other, and they just butt heads the entire time, and they fight and argue, and they even make fun of her boobs, and they just, you know, Yozura calls Senna meat because she's got these giant boobs, and she just makes fun of her because of that. And yeah, it's funny watching these two, and they go a little too far. Yozura does push, you know, so many buttons, and actually makes Senna run out of the club crying, but it's more done in a comic way. But there are some episodes where it happens, you're just like, damn, that's mean. And that happens, and we have a cross-dressing maid named Yukamura, which he's technically a girl at the beginning, or a guy at the beginning. He wants Kodaka to be like his big brother or something, or his master, and all this stuff. And they end up making her, you know, wear a maid outfit, and she serves tea, and she kind of serves as the I guess, laugh out loud yaoi moments, which all fantasy anyway. And Rika is one of the other characters that joins. She's this kind of nerd science girl, and she is very, very funny. I can't stop laughing when she's on scene doing something stupid or something very. When she first is introduced, she actually reads out this mecha comic that she read. And it's basically Eva and Gundam or something thrown together, and the robots are basically having sex. And the way she describes everything, talk about beam cannon firing, and it's hilarious. Listen to Rika just go nuts over anything like that. And like I said, yeah, she's probably maybe the one big pervert in the series that everything is almost a sex joke to her. But season 2, I think, is where she shines and she gets more development, and she actually becomes Kodaka's first friend that he's ever made. And even though it's kind of corny that he's made friends with all these girls, obviously, because he's hung out with them for so long. And the last 2 characters are kind of little girls. One's Kodaka's sister to Kabato, and she's kind of a cosplayer. She lives in a fantasy world in her head, kind of like Rika from Chinubio. And I would say, yeah, Kabato has Chinubio, definitely. She believes that she's a vampire from this anime she watches. And then you have Maria, which is a nun, who in the beginning was the club advisor, and they kind of reveal in season 2 that Maria is not actual club advisor because she's too young and she's not really a nun, a full-fledged nun. And then we have her sister, I forgot her name, but she arrives in season 2 and is funny. And again, like most series on this list, it's the characters that make these series shine, I think, for name for Bokuwa Tomodachi, or Haganai, if you want to use that. Yeah, the cast of characters, and I would say Rika is probably the best character for me in that, because you're always waiting for her to say something, and yeah, she just makes it fun. And Senna, I mean, she has her moments. And I think honestly, all the characters have their shining moments, besides Maria and Kabuto, because you know Kabuto's always running away from Senna because Senna is attracted to twin tail lollies because of a game she plays, and she wants a little sister so badly, and she wants, yeah, Kabuto to be her sister. And there's an underlying story that I think Kodaka is basically engaged to Senna, or going to marry her or something like that, because his dad and her dad made this promise when they were younger, and it kind of gets, that causes a rift in a lot of characters. Well, mostly Yozora, who is technically the childhood friend of Kodaka when they're children, and they kind of realize it, I think, at the end of season 1. I don't know, they realize it later, but anyway, yeah, the characters in that series are fun, and I would highly recommend, if you like, you know, shows that have like oddball characters, I would recommend Bokuwa Tomodachi to almost anybody. But it's got a little fan service, so that might scare people away. But anyway, that's my top 10. Hope you guys liked it. You know, comment below if there's a series that you thought was better, or you know, maybe give me a debate on why you think, you know, a show should be higher than the others, or why Gintama should be #1 instead of Bokuwa. But yeah, anyway, that's my top 10. If you want to give your top 10, that's fine, go for it. It's up to you. I might do more top 10s later. So, see you guys next time, and thanks for watching.